The galactic courtroom buzzed with tension. Thousands of species from across the stars had gathered, watching through holographic feeds as the most controversial trial in recent memory began. On one side stood the Tormak Coalition, a militaristic confederation of 12 warlike worlds. On the other, a frail, shackled alien, the last of her kind. Her name was Vetra. She was accused of espionage, sabotage, and the murder of a Tormak ambassador. The punishment? Erasure. Not just death, but total erasure, mind, memory, culture. Everything would be deleted from the universal records. It was a punishment reserved for those who challenged the Tormak's authority. Vetra had no advocate. No one dared speak for her. The Tormak's reach was long, and their vengeance legendary. Her race, the Nyari, were pacifists, gifted in diplomacy and known for preserving peace during ancient wars. But now, none remained to speak for her. Until a human stood up. He was not a politician, not a soldier, not even a lawyer by trade. Just a freelance translator from Earth, recently stationed on the galactic ring. His name was Elias Crane. "I'll defend her," Elias had said when the court asked for final representation. The chamber went silent. Gasps from every corner of the galaxy echoed. Humans were new to the galactic stage, brilliant, unpredictable, and still viewed as dangerously emotional. For a human to challenge the Tormak in court. Madness. But Elias walked to the defense platform, eyes steady, voice calm. "I will speak for the voiceless," he said. The trial began. The prosecution was brutal. They showed video evidence of Vetra near the scene of the bombing. They traced a data leak to a Nyari encryption signature. They played footage of the Tormak ambassador's final moments, all eyes on Vetra. Elias never flinched. He studied the footage for hours, slept barely 2, and interviewed every witness the court would allow. He wasn't just trying to save Vetra. He was searching for the truth. During cross-examination, Elias focused on the data signature. This encryption, he argued, was last used centuries ago, before the Nyari were scattered. Who would have access to ancient Nyari codes? Only a species desperate to frame someone who couldn't defend themselves. The court murmured. Then Elias brought in a surprise witness. A Karelian technician, small, bug-eyed, trembling, who confessed under oath that he'd been hired by someone high-ranking in the Tormak military to fabricate the evidence. The technician had been promised a safe new identity and enough credits to vanish forever. But guilt had eaten at him. The courtroom exploded. Even the High Arbiter, a 10,000-year-old arboreal being, leaned forward from his mossy throne. Still, the Tormak weren't done. They pivoted, accusing Vetra of withholding information. She knew the plot and said nothing, they claimed. Then Vetra herself stood. Her voice, though weak, carried across the chamber. "I knew," she admitted. "But only days before it happened. And I did speak, I tried to warn the ambassador. He dismissed me, called me a relic of weakness. He said the Tormak never fear whispers." Elias turned to the court. This was never about justice. It was about extermination. The Tormak sought an excuse to finish what they started centuries ago, to erase the Nyari completely. Vetra is not a criminal. She is a survivor. Silence. Then the High Arbiter declared, "The charges against Vetra are nullified. She is free." But that moment wasn't the end, it was only the beginning. The galaxy, watching this trial unfold, saw a human stand against tyranny. Elias's defiance inspired hundreds of others to come forward, others who'd been silent, afraid. Species long oppressed by the Tormak began to resist, to question, to organize. The Nyari, long thought extinct, were welcomed back to the galactic community. Vetra became their ambassador. Elias? He vanished for a time, declining all interviews. But whispers of him surfaced, negotiating peace treaties in border worlds, aiding colonies in legal battles, dismantling systems of quiet oppression one planet at a time. To many, he became a myth. To others, a symbol. And to the Tormak, he was a reminder: no empire is invincible when one voice dares to speak truth. The galaxy had changed, and it all began with one human, who stood up when no one else would.